A California school district provides teachers with lessons for students that attack the idea of Thanksgiving, and a Minnesota school district wants to provide resources to educators to, quote, rethink Thanksgiving. Joining us right now to discuss is Director of Outreach at Parents Defending Education, Erika Sanzi. Good Tuesday morning to you. Thanks for joining us, Erika.
Good morning, Jan. Thanks for having me.
Of course. The Los Angeles Unified School District has 2 resources on the district's Human Relations Diversity and Equity page online attacking Thanksgiving. Why is this? What is the purpose of this presentation?
It seems like, again, the pendulum seems to always have to swing to an extreme, right? So these resources essentially want Thanksgiving to be taught to students and also to families as a day of mourning. They use words like genocide, and they begin to push this message on students that, again, that on Thanksgiving, we as a nation, that we are celebrating, stolen land, the murder of people, and also genocide. And they use words like true history. And we hear this a lot. And I think that the problem is, what we're really talking about here is that we need a more comprehensive telling of history, not just about Thanksgiving, right, but about all things. No person's perspective, no one side of this debate is 100% right or 100% wrong. So on that front, I have a little bit of sympathy, or at least understanding for what they're trying to do. But again, they take it to an extreme where, even young students now could emerge thinking that when they celebrate Thanksgiving with their family, that what they are really doing is celebrating genocide, and that does not seem like a message that our students, need to be hearing.
The presentation also asks the question, everything we know about Thanksgiving is wrong. What is wrong with the teaching of Thanksgiving according to this school district?
So again, part of the problem here, right, is they're making an assumption that they know what every single school in the United States teaches about Thanksgiving. They basically come out and say, what we learn in school is wrong, and that the Native American version is correct. And the truth is, neither of those two things even exist. So I think that what they're thinking about is this narrative of the Mayflower, and then they picture little children, dressed up as Indians and pilgrims, and wasn't this a kumbaya moment? How lovely. And certainly that is not the whole story, or really even the story of Thanksgiving. The problem is that then they want to switch to this other narrative that is also pretty ahistorical and doesn't tell the full story. So I think experience and history have told us that no person's version of anything is ever 100% correct. So again, do we shift to a more comprehensive way of telling it with a variety of viewpoints? Sure. Do we teach children that they need to talk about how they're standing on stolen lands and celebrating murder on Thanksgiving? No.
Well, the St. Paul Public Schools in Minnesota has an initiative called Rethinking Thanksgiving, and it attempts to decolonize Thanksgiving. What's the initiative here? What's the goal here?
Again, this idea of decolonization is to move away from what they consider to be a harmful narrative, and that harmful narrative is the story of Thanksgiving being about pilgrims arriving and the natives, being so happy to see them, and them all sitting together at some long table and having a meal. They consider that to be a harmful telling of the story. Now, first of all, again, it's wrong to assume that that's what students are learning. There certainly is evidence that plenty of students are learning something much more comprehensive. But they want to shift to a telling of it that, again, swings the pendulum into another direction where there's nothing to celebrate, we have nothing to be grateful for, and almost sort of move away from what has become a very special day of unity and reflection and gratitude in our nation, which I, again, think is a mistake.
And I read one of the resources purports to help, quote, white folks to discuss settler privilege and other forms of white supremacy. There's even resources for families. One is to, quote, make your Thanksgiving about social and environmental justice. How do some of these sites recommend how you should recognize this holiday?
Yeah, I mean, that's concerning again, too, because it targets white folks, and it makes an assumption that people who aren't white aren't out there, having these massive family gatherings and celebrating Thanksgiving and loving Thanksgiving and, going to the Thanksgiving Day football game and coming home to a big meal. But, it's things like, instead of talking about grace before the meal, they talk about how people should have a land acknowledgement where they all acknowledge that they're standing on stolen lands, before they start their meal. They have lists of children's books where young children can learn about, again, their version of this terrible holiday and this celebration of genocide. They have sample letters that you can send to your school to complain about how the school is celebrating or teaching Thanksgiving.
Meantime, right. Meantime, we still have to worry about our math and reading scores at all these schools as well. And of course, we should be thankful every day, regardless. Every day we wake up. Director of Outreach at Parents Defending Education, Erika Sanzi, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you, and I hope you have a safe and healthy holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving, Jan. Thanks.
Thank you.